My name is Paul.
And I'm Darren.
This is Ben. And we're in a band called Mutemath.
Indeed. Thus far, the tour is going great. This is the last show of the first half of the tour. We've split it up in 2 chunks. So after tonight, we get to go home, be with our families for a week, and nurse our wounds, and come back all the stronger. But we've had a blast. I personally, it's been my favorite. What we did do on this particular record is we tried to look at what we did best and play to our strengths. And we tried to make, I've always thought that we were a good live show. I always thought that our songs got better whenever we played them live and we started to, mold them to fit into the live setting. So we tried to do that in the front end this time. We tried to do that before the record was finished. Make the songs live ready. And I think sometimes whenever we get stuck in the studio too, we would use what would we do live as a way to solve those problems, as a litmus test for what would work or not. It was also really nice to not have a producer. That was the big thing. Not having a producer, making the album on our own, made all the difference in the world. Now we had people that helped us. We brought in people for advice from time to time, or engineers, or some people helped us mix the record and whatnot. But by and large, we were on our own. Often just Paul and me. Most of the time, Roy was with us too, and that made all the difference for me.
Be more like your older brother. Why can't you? Blood rush. Why can't you do a little more for Jesus? Why can't you? Blood pressure.
Well, when we first started the sessions for what would become Odd Soul, we took a very different approach than what we had before, which was locking the door on everyone that we knew. We locked up at my house, and our guitarist, our ex-guitarist, had just left the band, so it was just the 3 of us, and we just bunkered down in my house for about 6 months. And Blood Pressure was the first song that kind of was the sparks of feeling like maybe we were on to something. And it was unlike anything we had done up to that point. And it was just some instrumental track that Darren had brought, and he had this concept idea for Blood Pressure, and we just kind of vamped on it. And I think it's safe to say that was the song that kind of set the tone for us.
Blood pressure, do better, keep rising. Blood pressure.
Now, the performance you just gave, the synth-driven version, is a lot different to how the song sounds on the record. Mm-hmm. How many different evolutions has the song gone through since you've been touring it?
That song started out, prior to recording the record, we sort of dated a producer for one song. We went to LA and re-recorded an old song that had never made the record, and we didn't get along with him too well, sadly, but he had this incredible collection of synthesizers and gear, and he was kind enough at least to allow us to mess around with all of it. So I just got away from him, went to the upstairs part of his studio and recorded all of his gear.
My job was to distract him.
Right.
I was off.
Paul ran interference, and I just recorded it. Paul told me that, Darren, this session is not, the second day we recorded, with 3 or 4 days, the second day Paul said, Darren, this is not going good, but maybe if we can at least get a lot of stuff recorded to mess with. And that's kind of how we like to record.
With the new material you guys are working on, it's a bit synth-driven, trying to find new ways to use old synths. Does that mean you guys are moving a bit away from the bluesy, rocky tones of Odd Soul?
Probably.
It's too early to tell. There's a probably, but knowing what usually happens, most of the time when we set out and record a certain way, it evolves quite a bit. Even in mastering, I can remember changing things drastically while we're mastering the record, and we just decided to. I mean, it happened on the last record with Walking Paranoia. So I got a feeling though it's going to still be a pretty identifiable cousin to Odd Soul. But yeah, no, we certainly are trying to push forward and use different instruments and find different inspirations.
I know a lot of stage ready. Is that something you guys want to repeat again?
I also think no. Yeah, I assume not. Yeah, this time around, seems like we might
news
we
to
might
me.
not. Yeah, I that's just the assumption I have. I mean, who knows? But yeah, we've been recording a lot more so far, writing separately and not worrying too much about what each of the four of us would play in it. But
That's why it was great on this Australian tour. We're trying out a lot of the ideas and experiments we've been running in the studio, and kind of forcing ourselves to have to bring it to the stage and seeing if there's a way to do it before we sign off on it.
And actually, with Odd Soul, I don't think the goal was to make it stage ready as much as we were trying to keep in the back of our heads, would this be good live? Do we think this would be, kind of a fun song, but not necessarily are we confident that we can know what each of us is going to do.
Come on, can I dream for one day? There's nothing that can't be done. But how long should it take somebody before they can be someone? 'Cause I know there's got to be another level somewhere closer to the other side. And I'm feeling like it's now or never. Or can I break the spell of the typical? The typical.
A lot of your songs are very layered, and I want to know how that goes. Do you start out with something and build, or do you take a whole bunch of elements you like and make them work together?
It usually starts with Darren. He creates an instrumental, electronic style track, and then we just keep layering from there until we don't like it anymore, or it just doesn't feel like it's getting better. It starts getting worse, and we just go back a few steps, and that's probably where we needed to stop. So yeah, I sing on it, we play on it, we revamp it, maybe we destroy it all. It's a pretty laborious process when I think about it. It's nice. Every now and then we get an idea that just kind of happens.
I've lived through my share of misfortune.